I just ran a piece of orange paper, 65-pound, through my printer with just a black design to put on it. And now I've got these little blocks that I am going to cut out. Line it up just the way I want it. And simply press down and cut the edges with the knife. Right along the edge of the block. These are very cheap wooden blocks. I got a set of about 65 of them for about $6 at my craft store. So you don't need anything expensive or fancy. And now I have another block. Two blocks of the different patterns. Now I've got my Mod Podge. If it's not available by you, then there's other white glues you can water down, is basically all that is. Just a very thin white glue, all-purpose. And I just put a thin coat. You can use a brush or the sponge. I usually use a sponge. I don't know why I grabbed a brush. The wetter you get it, the more your paper is going to bubble up. So I like to just keep a nice thin line, or thin film. And you position that on right where you want it and just press it down. You get all your bubbles out. You can even use your sprayer if you have one. There we go. And we'll get the next one. After you get it glued down with that thin coat, you just go back and put another light coat over it. So I'm just getting my paper letters that I cut out, the silhouette. And I did an offset. So I did 0.15. And then just give it all a top coat. This is where I would normally use my sponge brush, but it's still drying from when I put the background paper on the blocks. And again, it will all dry clear. Just don't want to have globs of glue. And you can go over and do another coat to even it all out. Really not necessary. I'm just kind of working on the brush marks. And I'll just leave it at that and go on to my next one. There we go. That's it for the letters. And then what I like to do to finish it off is to just take a little bit of the gross grain or grosgrain ribbon, however you want to pronounce it, and add some glue. This edge seems to be pretty porous, seems to be soaking it up, so I'm going to go ahead and let that first coat soak in and work more as a sealer. And I'll take, oh, I don't think it's going to stand up too well for me. Let's see the right side and the wrong side. I'm going to do it this way. And I'll take my ribbon and center it right across the top. And really press that in good. Down and get good contact, and I'll let that dry. I usually do a pretty thin coat, but because the edge of this wood, pressed board, whatever it is so porous, I want to make sure that I don't lose it all down into the block and that some stays up on the surface to adhere. I'm just going to go ahead and poke that in there to hold that while I do the other side. Down. I'll set that one aside to dry. And the last one. Okay. Now I've got my letters done, my boo. Of course they're still not totally dry, but I'm going to go on to my next step anyways, because that's what I do. So I put them in the order I want, flip them over, space them as I'm going to hang mine by a ribbon. And I've decided I want it to look like this with the sheer ribbon over the wider growth grain, or grow grain ribbon. And I'm going to want to hang it up there. I didn't finish this edge yet because I can't find my D-rings. I'm going to put a D-ring in there and stitch that shut to hold on to that for hanging it. So for now, let me adjust the camera a little bit. I'm going to take my ribbon, I know how I want it, and line it up pretty straight right down there. Okay. I'm not using Mod Podge for this because I don't think it's strong enough to bear the weight. I'm going to use E6000, which is a very heavy duty glue. Oops, I wanted to move over a little bit for that. You don't want to breathe this. You don't want to glue your fingers shut with it.